While the zombie fad has, ironically for the most part, died, there are some products that are still being produced that attempt to capture and relive that consumer experience. Raging Bytes is one of those games. While it never really hits the same highs as other games and the media of the genre, it does a serviceable job at guiding you through the story, albeit a very bare bones one. Let's start with the good. The game does a great job at handling combat, especially early on. Here, you'll take on enemies by getting in contact with them. The number of enemies is modified based on the number of enemies that you currently have aggroed. This made combat a little more strategic, and there is something that, once ready, allowed me to be a little bit more confident as I took on more and more enemies. One thing that the game does really well is vary weapons and skills. I feel like upon introduction, there was utility in almost everything that I picked up. This incentivized me to explore the area a little bit more than the path that was laid out before me. There are certain items that you can find which make the game exponentially easier, and I can only imagine what a difficult time I would have had I not found them. These are items that were able to attack without any ammo. The last thing that I would have liked to mention regarding the things that the game did really well was locales. I felt like there was a good variety of locations that you traveled, and it does a nice job in making the areas feel cramped with zombies, while at the same time giving you enough freedom to be able to dodge them and time your stamina. Now what the game could have done better. For starters, I think that the biggest hindrance to enjoying the game was that the story was as cliché as it could get. I know that it's hard to innovate in the genre, but I felt like the only interesting parts of the game were maybe the last hour or so, where you learn a little bit more about the outbreak. Throughout the game, you come across news articles that explain how society got to this point, but none of it really feels impactful enough and made me want to skip it altogether. The story very much emulates what you would find on Season 1 of The Walking Dead without the big twist moments, and it goes even so far as to emulate that you wake up in a hospital. There's one high bright spot of the game that is the final puzzle. While I don't know how it makes sense, I thought the concept was really cool. Another thing that I did not like that the developer intended was how the zombie types influence how you engage with hordes. For example, early on in the game I was cautious because I didn't know how to test the limits of my character, and as the game progressed I was more and more willing to take on larger and larger hordes of zombies. This is good. However, at some point in the game, zombies gain ranged abilities. Given that the ability to heal is finite, this incentivizes the player not to engage because it guarantees that characters in my party would take damage. I never found myself going back to the mood where I would want to take on several zombies at once no matter how strong I got, because the damage that I would have taken in battle was basically guaranteed. I never knew when and how much I needed to heal up, so I avoided conflict altogether. This led me to end the game with tons of health packs and extra ammo. The last thing that I want to mention that seems a little bit more like a bug, or at least I might be as brain dead as the zombies in terms of understanding how to use certain items. Over the course of the game, you'll come across items that are said to increase your total max health pool. I could not for the life of me find out how to use said items, which I'm sure would have made my gameplay a lot more successful. Raging Bytes is a bit of a letdown in terms of what it could have been. The skeletal frame is great experience, and there is fairly enjoyable combat experience as a whole, along with a great environment. However, it is held back by its largest and most important factor, the story. I think that zombie lovers, it may be worth checking out. It is on both the iOS and Google Play Store for $7.99. It will take you roughly 5 hours to complete the game, and so hopefully that helps you make your determination. If you have any recommendations for me to review, leave it in the comment section below. While you're there, let me know what your favorite zombie game is. Otherwise, stay tuned in to Gaming in the Moment.